Hey guys, it's the Psychiatric. Today we're going to be talking about how I established my private practice. And this will be like my journey, guys, and I want you guys to join along and see the highs and the lows. I'm not going to BS anything. If I'm struggling with something, I will tell you guys. And I want to make mistakes. This will be my first time. I'm not an expert in establishing this private practice. The psych dude made a post the other day about how if you don't build your own dreams, someone else will hire you to build theirs. And that's resonated with me for kind of a long time, something that kind of fuels me a little bit. And I want you guys to, I'm actually checking out a couple office spaces, and I want you guys to check it out. They're not fully furnished yet or anything like that, but I'm trying to establish what kind of office space do I want to go pick moving forward. So I actually had an agreement for an office space before, and it fell through. So now it's kind of like restarting that journey to finding a good office space that I can grow into and build into while keeping my overhead costs low. All right, guys, let's get into it. These will be two offices that I recorded viewing. There are two other offices also that I went to, but they wouldn't let me record in that office space because it was being used. All right, guys, let's get to it.
Restaurant. Oh, it's snowing right now.
All right, one office space.
And then just,
All right, entrance.
so it was a way of, and she said, well, you need to pay your dues or whatever.
So this would be either our reception area or my office space. I might build a wall blocking this down. And we have another space here. Probably put an office down here. This little boiler room.
Stuff you do in your video?
Yeah. It's Troy and Nishu. And then this is potentially a big office space. Probably split it. This is the bathroom. We might expand it depending. We move this door to the hallway and maybe make this a whole bathroom, but we'll see. Or build two offices in this area because it's a big space. This space I still don't know what to do with. We're going to break down this wood and we'll see what we do there. This is an x-ray room. I don't know what we're going to do there.
Fire or something right there.
What do here?
That's what that is.
Closet. And inside here, there's just not many spaces. Excuse me, try.
Okay.
Not much space here. Just be a closet room or something. All right, that's the tour. What did you guys think of those two office spaces? One was a very small office space and the other was bigger, but they were going to have to do a build out and going to have to build it the way that I wanted to. It really depends on what kind of office space you want. If you want a small office space just with one office, that's fine. It will keep your overhead costs low. But if you're trying to envision kind of building into the future, then you most likely would want to get a bigger space. But I would think anybody would recommend to get a smaller space right off the bat. You have to potentially understand that you're probably going to lose money or break even in those first several months while you establish your patient load, especially if you're doing credentialing with insurance companies. That's why you don't have to do any advertisements. Depending on your market. In Maryland, credentialing with insurance companies, it's pretty easy to get clients. It's really a lot about the overhead. I can't really stress that enough. There's so many other expenses when you're negotiating one of these leases. How long are you going to stay there? It's going to be a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. And a lot of these places, they're not going to want to give you a 1 year lease. They need to make money off of you, especially if you're going to require a build out and you want them to break down some walls, put in some doors, things like that to make your office space, where you want a main lobby bigger. There's so many things you kind of have to take into account. Minimum like 2 to 3 years is what I'm looking at. I'm going to require a build out wherever I go. I'm probably not going to stick with the one office space. I'd like a little bit bigger, maybe a 3 to 5 office space range. My overhead costs are going to cost me, depending on what space I pick, $1,500 to $2,000. So, guys, just me working part-time and only seeing patients every Saturday while I start out, I mean, I'm either going to break even or stay close. But once I transition to full-time in my private practice, it's going to be different, and I'll be able to make that money by seeing more patients throughout the day or throughout the week. But initially, it's going to be hard, and I expect that. But I work full-time at another job and have a part-time job, so having these things are kind of like a buffer to protect me a little bit. You need to kind of see, you have to buy furniture for these office spaces. And I want you guys to be part of my journey. This is the first episode. It's not going to be too in-depth, but I want you guys to see kind of what I'm going through. I've already done all the stuff before, credential with insurance companies and opening up a business account, all those things, getting an LLC. But this time, it's a little bit different. It took a while to get all those things kind of out of the way. But now finding that perfect space, initially is kind of the hard part. You have to really calculate your overhead, see what kind of EHR you're going to use. And when you're thinking about the office, does it have parking? Can patients park it, or can they find the place easily? Is it ADA accessible? Are you on the second floor, third floor? Are there elevators? You kind of have to take everything into account. And even there's like CAM area maintenance fees. So you might have a rent for $1,500, but if there's a CAM shared fee between all the tenants, you're going to pay more. If you're a place that there's a state that has a lot of snow, you might have to pay extra for that if there's snow removal. There's so many things, guys. There's HVAC policies where, if something happens to the HVAC, and you might actually end up having to pay for that. So there's so many things when you're negotiating, and there's always room for negotiation when you're signing a contract. If they really need a tenant, look how long has the office been on the market? If it's been there for 6 months, you definitely have some wiggle room. You need to see also how much occupancy is in that building or that area. If that building only has like 70% occupancy, you have a chance to negotiate. If it's almost full and it's a hot area, you're not gonna have as much wiggle room. And depending on the build out of how much walls they need to build for you or how much construction they have to do, they have to look at the numbers. How much money are they going to make off of you when renting out a space? So they're not going to do a full build out if you're only going to request 1 year lease. They wouldn't do it for you. Even like a 2-year, they'd probably be very hesitant. I've seen a lot of minimum of 3 years to 5 years. And even let's say you're looking to do a longer term lease, but maybe for that first year you want to have a cheaper rent. Sometimes they'd work with you. For that first month, they will reduce your rent. The second and third years, they'll increase your rent by a lot. And then the fourth and fifth year, it should be balanced out. But there's ways to work around it. But you have to be all in doing this. You have to take risks for what you want. For me, I have whatever space I get, and most likely the space I'm going to get if I do something contract and pick it, I'll record the video of that place, that office space, and show you guys what I expect it to be. When I start, it's probably going to be around January or late December when the office is really fully ready. But when that time comes, I'll show you guys that office space, the office spaces that I have, the main lobby, the parking. I'll take a whole video of all around the complex. But I want you guys to kind of see this process. And like I said, I'm not an expert. And I want to make mistakes along the way so that I can learn. Because I know this first year, this is where I'll learn everything about the billing and the complaints with patients, or there's just so much things that you have to really understand. And I think until you get to that point and you start doing it, that's when you'll really fully understand. You can read all these books that you want, but until you take that plunge, it's just what you're learning about. You got to be able to incorporate it into your practice. And that's what I'm excited about. So guys, follow me on my journey. The next video, I don't know if next week I probably won't have too many updates, depending on if I actually signed a contract. I'll let you guys know, keep you posted. But I want you guys to join my journey. All right, guys, the Psych NP out.